Hey guys, Ultron Prime here, and welcome back to more Half-Life 2 Episode 1. Now this series, yes I said series, is going to be different. It's going to be similar to what I did with Portal 1, Half-Life 2 Lost Coast, and Portal 2. Developer commentary, that's why. Alright, there's 5 chapters, it looks like. Oh, by the way, so in case you guys don't know, last night was the premiere of Rick's final episode of In the Walking Dead. I haven't seen it, but all I know from here is that AMC is planning a series of movies starring Andrew Lincoln. Pretty much all I know. Okay, so same as always. Commentary mode allows access to information notes containing audio commentary spoken by members of the Valve development team. To start or stop a commentary node, aim your crosshairs at any balloon icon and then press your use key. While playing the in-game commentary, you will be invulnerable to damage, and achievements will not be awarded. Okay? Oh, by the way, new Overwatch hero coming soon. It's a female version of McCree. Oh.
We received a great deal of positive feedback on the commentary track in The Lost Coast, and so we've included the same feature in this episode. To listen to a commentary node, put your crosshair over the floating commentary symbol and press your use key. To stop a commentary node, put your crosshair over the rotating node and press the use key again. Some commentary nodes may take control of the game in order to show something to you. In these cases, simply press your use key again to stop the commentary. With episodic content, we're hoping to release games much more frequently than has been possible with the monolithic development schedules of the past. Game developers and game customers have been wanting to try this for years. Please let me know what you think after you've had a chance to play this, our latest installment in the ongoing adventures of Gordon Freeman. I can be reached at gayben@valvesoftware.com. Thanks, and have fun.
And it seemed like all the other developer commentary series I've done, I won't talk during the commentary. So I was saying about the Overwatch hero. It's a female version of McCree named Ash. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but there's already Rule 34 of her. I'm serious, I checked. There are. So in case you don't know what she looks like, I'm gonna Google image search. That's how you spell her name, by the way. She was actually revealed during BlizzCon, so this is her. And, by the way, her voice. Yeah, I said her voice. As if it comes on. Now, if you've seen the Overwatch short, which I'll leave a link in the description, if you think she sounds familiar, this is why. She's voiced by Jennifer Hale. was now Ash isn't actually available to play on the PTR yet. But I will leave a link in the description for the Overwatch short.
Tell me, Dr. Freeman, if you can. You've destroyed so much. What is it exactly that you have created? Even one thing. I thought not.
We used an upgrade of the Refractionator from Half-Life 2 to make the Vortigaunts warp into the intro. The major difference is that this time we are only refracting pixels that come from the Vortigaunts themselves. We placed a large sheet of refractive geometry in front of each Vortigaunt to achieve this effect.
This intro sequence establishes some important initial pieces of Episode 1's story and setting. Our earlier versions of the intro sequence were heavy on graphic effects and relatively light on storytelling. When we showed those early versions to playtesters, they thought it was cool, but rarely had any idea what was supposed to be happening. We went through several iterations, each time simplifying the editing and tightening up the effects. We eventually arrived at a good middle ground between the sort of psychedelic look we were shooting for and basic comprehension of what was actually taking place.
We'll see about that.
Oh, so G-Man was just trying to get to Gordon Freeman, but he couldn't because the Vortigaunts were helping them. 47%. That's how much I lost? Oh, by the way. Okay. That I did not expect to pause right there. Okay, so I'm gonna do episode one developer commentary, and then at some point I'll do Portal Story Smell. And then after that, I don't know what I will do, because at this point I pretty much just ran out of ideas.
What you're doing in... Oh my god.
Whoa.
Gordon. I was so worried.
Okay, so apparently I'm not. See, I'm like PewDiePie. I admit when I run out of ideas.
Hey, the gravity gun. Give it to him, dog.
Wow.
There, Gordon. Dog's happy to see you. I can tell. Okay, dog. Go get the
Come on, I want to read the.
Check in with my dad. He must be worried sick about us. He was so sure I wouldn't find you here.
Players love Dog,
Coming apart.
so we made sure that he was the first thing you see when you wake up in episode 1. We also wanted players to get a glimpse of the crippled Citadel. When Dog lifts you out of the rubble, it's one of the few instances in the game when we take control of the player's view. This allowed us to ensure the player's view lingered briefly on the Citadel before Dog set them down.
All so strange. It's my dad. We've been trying to reach him for hours.
First,
We never take control away
let
from
me do
the
these.
players. It can be a real pain to get them to notice important environmental events. It's a constant design challenge for us. The Citadel will be erupting in a massive light show that took 10 of us 2 months to orchestrate, and if we're not careful, the player will end up facing the other direction staring at a tire. In this case, to establish that the Citadel is coming apart at the seams, we wanted the player to notice the debris falling off of it. We used a pretty straightforward method here. Alex explicitly mentions the Citadel while pointing at it. Like most of these solutions, it's not foolproof, but it has a high success rate.
This area was redesigned several times in order to keep the player in this space while Alex delivers some exposition. As much as we hated to do it, the final solution was to have Alex climb out while the player looks for an alternate route. We portray Alex as more athletic and nimble than Gordon, so players shouldn't get too irritated by the fact that she can get to places they can't. Honestly, we're not especially happy with this crutch, but it's a trade-off we sometimes have to make so that we can get Alex out of the way of interesting player challenges.
The Citadel is supposed to be a building of unprecedented scale. So out of scale with the rest of the world, in fact, that we couldn't render it without our 3D skybox technology. This technology allows us to build the Citadel as a 1/16th scale model off in an unreachable corner of the map, and seamlessly merge it into the scene. We also use this technology to create the illusion of vast spaces and distant horizons.
Are you using this technology for Half-Life 3? Is that why it's taking so long? Okay, hold on. I gotta see if I'm recording. Okay, I am. It always does that. Okay. Damn it! Sorry, it just keeps closing on me. I don't know why. Here we go. Okay. Oh, come on!
Dad, are you there?
Right off the bat, we needed to hammer home some story.
Hold on a sec, there's so much interference.
Hold on.
Hey, dog, give me a hand with this. Okay. Little to the right. There we go. Hold it there. We got it. Dad.
Alex, where are you? Please, God, tell me you're out of the city.
Well, not quite yet.
What?
But listen, Dad, we found him.
You found Gordon? I don't believe it. But listen, you two have to get out of the city. The Citadel could blow at any moment.
There's no question that it will, I'm afraid. Our remote sensors indicate the process is accelerating toward a dark energy flare. Anyone left in the vicinity will be subjected to energetic events whose effects are beyond my powers of speculation. The ravages to cellular material are
Liner,
unimaginable.
stop!
Dad?
Oh dear, Eli, I'm sorry, but surely there's no need for undue alarm. Alex is well out of harm's way by now.
Well, actually, we're still at the Citadel.
What? Oh dear, but there's really no time. The core is exceedingly close to collapse. Why, there's no way to get far enough without first... Well, nothing short of a direct intervention in the core could possibly retard the reaction.
You mean going in?
Into the core, yes, but it's far too dangerous to consider. The chamber will be bathed in radiation.
Well, you do have the hazard suit. If we
God damn it.
Way into the Citadel, it's possible.
Alex, no!
But Dad,
Izzy, talk some sense into her.
I'm sorry, Eli, but I don't see any other way. It would help us evacuate more citizens.
we can do this, Dad.
Okay, Alex, okay, just promise me. Promise me that you won't take a single unnecessary risk.
I promise. I love you.
I love you too, baby. I'll be praying for you.
Don't worry. I'll see you soon. Let's see if we can find a way into the Citadel from somewhere along the wind.
Right off the bat, we needed to hammer home some story points, reintroduce the cast of characters, and explain the player's immediate goal. It was a pretty intimidating chunk of non-interactive exposition. We generally approach
God
these
damn it.
scenes by writing way too much, and then through constant playtesting, trimming the scene to more manageable levels. But in this case, even after some heroic pruning, the opening scene still felt too long. We ended up splitting the introductory sequence into 3 scenes, separated by some gravity gun puzzle solving, and then a dramatic walk across a crumbling map.
When we designed the Half-Life 2 facial system back in 2000, our goal was to have
2000?
looking performance at a moderate distance. Given our real-time polygon and texture budgets, we chose fairly reserved or constrained performances over ever having the actors' faces get into a bad-looking or unnatural expression. For episode 1, we wanted to extend the character's facial system to support more intense performances with a wider range of facial expressions that would hold up better at close range. These facial improvements included increasing the detail around the eyes and mouth, increasing the number of facial shape targets, think of these as movements of muscle groups, by about 50%, rewriting the rules that control how these shapes blend, and increasing the intensity of many of our existing shapes. In addition, we added support for controlling the amplitude of the facial movement for lip sync animation, which let us dampen or amplify the mouth shapes based on the volume or intensity of the dialogue.
Monitor scenes are especially difficult to make interesting, since they tend to involve literally just talking heads. By interweaving critical expository information, like how dangerous the Citadel has become, with some dramatic character interactions between Alex, Eli, and Dr. Kleiner, we were able to convert a potential liability into one of the strongest scenes in the game. A great way to illustrate characters' relationships to each other is to have one of the characters in danger and show the other's reactions to it, which is what this scene is all about.
Sometimes we need to keep the player in an area so that we can deliver some critical dialogue or run an important sequence of events. In these cases, we temporarily block the player's path using what we call a gate. These gates generally take the form of some obstacle that can only be removed or opened by some character or event. In this case, the obstacle is a crashed gunship that can only be moved out of the way by Dog. Though the final scene looks pretty straightforward, a lot of care had to be taken to make sure that Dog hit his marks and played his sequences without trampling and damaging the player.
Come on. Okay. Okay. Now. Sorry. So. Next this one.
Alex travels through much of Episode 1 with the player, and consequently passes through a wider variety of lighting conditions than she did in Half-Life 2. This meant that we had to improve the quality of the lighting algorithms used on Alex to look realistic in any situation, from the eerie hallways of the Citadel to the streets of City 17 at sunset. For this episode, we added a specular lighting term to the shaders used on Alex, which provides a realistic, shiny look.
Hold on. I'm gonna see what my zoom key is to. I'm used to it being mouse 3, so.
To her skin, her leather jacket, and even her teeth. In these new lighting calculations, we chose to specifically emphasize bright highlights caused by illumination from grazing angles. This type of lighting, also referred to as rim lighting, is particularly dramatic when coming from low-angle light sources such as this bright sunset. You'll also note that the rim lighting is further enhanced by our high dynamic range post-processing, which causes the specular highlights to bloom in a striking and dramatic fashion. We have found that the move to an episodic development cycle allows us to take advantage of the fast pace of graphics hardware innovation by incrementally adding new features, such as Alex's new lighting techniques, to the source engine with each new episode.
See that? They're basically just that. Actually really cool.
This ledge is a really tricky spot for NPCs to navigate. While we wanted Alex to be able to maneuver dynamically through any complex environment, in certain navigation situations we're faced with a trade-off between flexibility and visual quality. In this particular case, she navigates the ledge with a combination of AI and scripted animations. We've continued to evolve the systems of Half-Life 2 whereby characters move fluidly through dynamic AI and scripted navigation, but ultimately what matters most is how it looks to the player.
Ow! Is it this? Oh, it is! Wow! What detail! There are more. I'll just wait until the dialogue is done this time. Yeah, he's fine. He's in episode 2. And like, unlike Half-Life 2, Alex is actually with us, like, throughout the game. You think? Remember the first time I did this?
Well, Dog, what do you think?
I don't.
Any ideas?
Our games are created by design collectives that we call cabals. And the idea to have you and Apple.
All right, Dog. Let's not too hopeful.
Wow. Yeah, trying to kill us?
How exactly is this supposed to help us? Wait a minute. Oh no. You're not serious. Well, Gordon, unless you have a better suggestion, he is a robot. He's done the math.
Any idea is better than this idea. I've never noticed that before. He shakes his head no. I never noticed that.
I want you to get out of here as fast as you can. Go find Dad. We'll catch up. Don't worry. All right. I'll miss you too. Now don't worry about me. I'll see you soon. Get in the passenger side, Gordon.
Not yet.
Our games are created by design collectives that we call cabals. When the idea to have you and Alex sit in a van and then have Dog toss it across the gorge was first suggested during a cabal meeting, everyone thought it was funny, and then we moved on to more serious solutions for the gorge crossing.
Okay, Gordon.
As the design progressed, though, we kept coming back to the van idea, and eventually everyone agreed that we should give it a try. Even though the idea was kind of outrageous, it satisfied some key goals we had for the scene. Alex and the player get across the impassable gorge, and Dog is able to play a key role in the mission while also plausibly getting left behind. There were still some problems to solve, though. Attaching animated models to the van was tricky, making sure the van didn't kill the player took some thought, and it took a number of tries before we were able to really illuminate Dog's thinking, as he went from testing his idea with chunks of debris to finally presenting the plan to Alex. Ultimately, we were able to create a scene that solved some tricky game design issues, provided an intimate view of the relationship between Alex and Dog, and delivered a surprising and visceral entrance to the Citadel.
Well, you're about to, because I'm learning. That was a Simpsons reference.
It's really important to us to create scenes that showcase strong relationships between our characters. The relationship between Alex and Dog seems to be especially satisfying to players. In the scene leading up to the van toss, we had a bug before the animation was complete, where Dog's head would shake as he looked back at Alex. In a happy accident, his head shook right after she asked him, "You did do the math, right?" In playtests, players thought this was intentional and always laughed. Because of that, we worked it into the animation, and it ended up being a terrific little moment between Dog and Alex.
So, that was a bug? Oh my god! See? You learn from these. Okay, now we can go in.
Brace yourself. Okay, Dog, let's do it. Before I change my... Okay. Careful, hold on. Whoa. Phew. Whew. Good throw, Dog. Now go, boy, go on. You'll be fine. Just... Uh-oh. What now? Whoa. Hold on.
Ah.
Alright, let's get off before the next ride starts.
You know what? Why don't I just read you a quick overview about Ash? Okay, so... abilities... Oh! Bob is her ultimate! Nice! Ash summons her trusty Omnic sidekick Bob, who charges forward and knocks enemies into the air, then lays down suppressing fire with his arm cannons. There's the story. So Ash is the ambitious and calculating leader of the Deadlock Gang and a respected figure in the criminal underworld. Born in a wealthy family, Ash grew up surrounded by privilege. Her family was highly sought after business consultants and coaches for powerful CEOs around the world. Though her parents paid little attention to her, mostly leaving her in the care of the family's omnic butler, Bob, they ensured that Ash had every opportunity to succeed. But a chance meeting with a local ruffian named Jesse McCree and an impromptu string of crimes committed together opened her eyes to her true calling. The satisfaction of outwitting her targets and the thrill of getting away with it set her on the outlaw path. Along with the other three founders of the Deadlock Gang, Ash started to make a name for herself with bigger and more extravagant heists. The Deadlock Gang's rapid rise of prominence put them at odds with the other criminal organizations in the American Southwest. The encounters often became violent. After years of skirmishes and bloodshed, Ash called the heads of the major groups together. Ash saw the potential to grow in the influence of all. She used what she'd learned from her parents' business to bring order to these groups. Her proposal was that the gangs could work together, or at least not work against each other. Her principles: keep your word, don't work with the law, respect each other's territory, and always punish betrayal. No longer having to focus her energies on squabbles with the other gangs, Ash is now running her name across the American Southwest with a string of audacious heists and operations that has put her at the top of the authorities' most wanted lists and cemented her legacy as an outlaw legend. So yeah, again, I'll leave a link in the description for the short. That was a Nathan Drake moment right there.
To convey a sense of urgency, we originally designed Alex to nag the player pretty frequently. She'd say things like, "Hurry up, keep moving." Whether or not this created a sense of urgency is debatable, but after about 3 minutes of this, the one thing it definitely did was make the player hate Alex. This was one of the observations that eventually led us to switch Alex from generally leading the players to almost always following. Through playtesting, we discovered that players much preferred to set the pace themselves, and that they especially disliked virtually any hint of bossiness from Alex.
Yep, we're supposed to go that way. I'll go to the next question. Yeah. Wow, that took a long time. There's another note. God damn it! My bad. Alright, note to self, don't do that. Just look at the glass.
We populate our environments with spots where players can take a break to look out over an expanse of cool scenery. We call these vistas. This particular vista was designed to give anyone familiar with the Citadel interior from Half-Life 2 a good view of what it looks like now that everything's falling apart. The pods that are sliding off their track and into the abyss really sell the idea that the Citadel is half abandoned and in chaos.
In an early version of this map, Alex led the player through the whole thing. To make Alex seem less omniscient, we had her access a console here to get her bearings. It exploded, which helped drive home the point that the Citadel was in bad shape, but but generally, it was a long pause in the action without a lot of payoff. After we made the high-level decision to have Alex follow the player, this entire scene became irrelevant, and we happily cut the whole thing. Training is one of the fundamental tenets of our design philosophy. Before the player is required to utilize some new game mechanic, or new weapon, or face a new monster under pressure in a dangerous situation, we always introduce the concept in a relatively calm, but ideally still entertaining way. This entire scene teaches the player that Alex can convert roller mines so that they can be used as a friendly weapon. Later, the player is required to do this in more pressing circumstances, but at this point, everything's still pretty calm. In the original design, the player retrieved the roller mine from a dispenser and used it to take out a combine soldier who was holding the field from the other side. Eventually, we scrapped that idea and combined the roller mine training with some stalker exposition that originally occurred in a separate scene.
Pookie Spencer, here! Sorry, said dispenser, I had to say it.
Stalkers. Well, shouldn't bother us if we leave them alone. I'll just disable this field and... Damn, I can't get this down. Something... It's that stalker. He's holding it from the other side. We don't have time to look for another way around. How are we gonna get through here? Roller mines. They could help us get out of here. Can you find where those roller mines are going? I've got an idea how to use one.
In a good puzzle, the player is presented with an overall goal, and then faces a number of smaller challenges in pursuit of that goal. In the case of the Stalker puzzle, we start with, how do I open the door? From there, we move to, how do I get to the Stalker? Then, how do I get to the roller mines? How do I get the roller mine back to Alex? And finally, how do I use the roller mine to disable the Stalker?
Oh crap. Thought so. There it is. First I'm gonna get some... Whoa! Shit! Damn it! Damn it! Okay, that pretty much scared me a little bit. There you go.
You found one. Dad taught me how to reset the targeting system on these things. A little extra juice in the right spot, and it's on our side. I'll hold it out where I can work on it. There it is. It's a lot more unstable, but it should last long enough to take out these stalkers. Okay. We can get through now.
Whoa. Don't turn red. Okay, so... when those things are red, don't...
We wanted to create an atmosphere of urgency in the Citadel, with Alex and the player focused on getting to the core to stop the impending collapse. Initially, we tried to reflect that urgency through Alex's behavior and acting. This proved to be unsustainable, however. If the player didn't choose to advance, Alex eventually ran out of lines or animations and was forced into her very non-urgent idle states.
We found that the best approach was for Alex to have such implicit trust in and sympathy with the player that she's always content to proceed at whatever pace the player chooses. Once we adopted this principle, lines where Alex sounded impatient or frustrated with the pace of progress quickly stood out and were cut.
Whoa, there was no animation in the legs.
We created a new Citadel destruction set of broken Combine panels and prefabs for the interior spaces to help make the Citadel look like it was on the verge of exploding. We also introduced a strong ambient orange color to help sell the fact that the Citadel was in a much different state from the last time the player passed through. The orange atmosphere was justified due to all the fires and smoke inside the Citadel.
How are we gonna get through that? Good thinking.
Like that! Unless they're AI. Sorry, not AI. Unless they are commentary nodes. Or nodes. However they're pronounced. Oh.
The primary goal of the first Citadel map is to communicate to players that the Citadel is falling apart. The Vortex was a late addition to the map in an effort to beef up the idea that the Citadel was becoming a very dangerous place. We had particular difficulty in conveying the danger zone here. In early playtests, players thought that the entire bridge was dangerous at all times. Some additional effects work helped let players know where the dangerous areas were. We would have loved to base more gameplay on this Vortex idea, but we just didn't have the time.
Sorry if I said danger zone. It's from Archer. You said you'd be right back. Okay, there you go. Yeah. All we had to do was sprint. Okay, I think this is where we get the super gravity gun back. Whoa! Don't do that! Okay, no. Whoa. What the hell? I forgot about this part. Nope, let's start again. Yeah, I'm gonna start again because... I already did that one, so I won't... I won't do those because I already did that. Oh crap! And I have to start from here. Perfect. No, this time I'll just wait for you. Yeah. You know what? I should save.
Decided this space needed to look unique and appear to have more significance than the rest of the Citadel
There we go.
areas the player had already traveled through, while at the same time feeling as though it was still made with Combine technology. This room introduces a story point that plays a big role in Episode 2, so the player has to feel like something important is going on in here. A different fog setting, as well as different light styles and configurations, helped achieve this. The red lighting is a good contrast to the traditional blue-green colors of the Citadel.
We revealed the pod here to let players see it up close. At the same time, we didn't want players to get too good a look at what's inside. An old version of the scene had the pod simply hanging from the ceiling. It would burst open and then charge up your gravity gun, but not do much else. The current scene gives us a much more dramatic reveal of the pod and an opportunity to introduce the mind blasts it's capable of emitting. Though they don't play a large role in Episode 1, these guys were a functional requirement of Episode 2, which meant we effectively had to ship a piece of that episode early.
It's important that the player has some empathy for Alex, rather than seeing her as just a bullet-spitting robot. The brief recovery scene after the pod mind attack reminds the player that Alex is also affected by events in the world.
Okay, now we can get in. Because it's an important plot point.
I can still deliver Earth, but not without your help. The portal destination is untenable. Surely you can set the relay elsewhere. There's no way I can survive in that environment.
Oh God, it's just an overreporting.
A host body? You must be joking. I can't possibly. Oh, all right. Damn it, if that's what it takes. Just hurry. He's right behind me. Oh, shit.
thought up in the ceiling would be more dramatic.
What the hell was that thing? Whatever that was, it's gone now. Let's get out of here.
I could have just waited. Okay, this is where we get the super gravity gun. Wow, that's bright. No, really. It's really bright.
The Lightbridge ball sockets are a clear example of our training approach to new gameplay elements. We train the players with a leading example, confirm they understand the concept, then switch up the problem set and make them use it in a new way. The first bridge shows players the solution, the second one confirms they understand it, and the third, knowing they understand the gameplay mechanic, challenges them in a new way using that mechanism.
Nice. I don't need that.
Impending destruction is a recurring theme in the Citadel. From story, mood, and visual standpoints, this changes the Citadel. The destruction needed to feel natural rather than entirely scripted upon the player's actions. Not showing destructive events dynamically makes the player assume the level of damage is static. However, if the events are too obviously triggered by player movement, the destruction feels too scripted. We found the solution was to give players glimpses of things that were happening at the periphery of the player space, as well as in their immediate vicinity, to give the feeling that stuff is happening whether the player is present or not.
Combine! Next, they'll see if I understand it. And I do. Move. And lastly, will be the challenge.
Having trained the player that balls fit into sockets, I wanted to introduce a puzzle where the question was how to get a ball into the socket. The puzzle we came up with involved a socket with an object blocking it, so that the player would have to ricochet a ball into place. This sounded simple until we actually tried to implement it. We made the covering opaque. Playtesters didn't realize that there was a socket behind it. When we made it translucent, they often didn't see it was there, and were confused when their shot bounced off. Making it movable was a red herring, making people think that they could actually knock it away. A couple of subtle art changes helped. We added some more prominent shadowing and made the glass panel flash when it was hit with a ball. Some playtesters consistently searched for a position to get a direct shot, which we didn't discourage as an alternate solution.
There we go.
There are some little practical details that take a surprising amount of time and testing to get just right. For instance, it took us many playtests to figure out just how fast Alex should move. It turns out that her falling behavior looks and feels the best when she's moving faster than the player's normal speed, but slower than the player's sprint speed.
I should probably wait until... Okay, so I'm gonna show you guys something. So you guys wanted... If you guys wanted to know about the Arkham Knight Halloween Easter egg I was gonna do, but I didn't. So what I'm gonna do, you know what? Let's just go to activity. Just ignore all of this in the activities, okay? Just ignore all of this until I get to what I wanted to show you. Okay, why does it take so long when I record? Like, seriously. Come on. Yeah, this may or may not take a while. Okay, never mind. This is my Gmod video. I always post in my fan group whenever I post a new episode. Oh, by the way, I also got LEGO DC Supervillains. Now, it's an okay game. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's got an awesome voice cast. They got Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill to reprise their Batman and Joker roles. They got Clancy Brown as the voice of Lex Luthor. I mean, of course they got Tara Strong to do the voice of Harley Quinn and Batgirl. They basically got all the DCAU actors, with the exception of James Woods as Ultraman, because Ultraman is actually voiced by Nolan North in this game. I mean, it still has its bugs. It still has, like, a couple bugs, like in the second level. You can't use the thug pulls. Sorry, the acrobatic pulls to get into a small room. The only ways you can get up there is by double jumping as Riddler. And in the last level where you fight Darkseid, Desaad, he's supposed to go into a room, but he doesn't. And the only way to fix that is if you restart your computer and play the game the next day. Ugh. But yeah, anyway, here's the Arkham Knight. So, Officer Bolden says, looks like we might need thicker glass next time. That's where Man-Bat is supposed to be held. But if you complete the Man-Bat mission, like, before Halloween, when you get this Easter egg, all you need to do to activate this Easter egg is just go outside, and go to Miyagani Island is what I did, until he jump scares you, and then after that, go back to GCPD, where his cell is. You get that? And then Batman says, I was afraid this might happen. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, now we're back. This place is coming apart. Whoa! Oh, another node.
This dropship scene was another case where we had to be clever about drawing the player's attention to something cool that was about to happen, which the player could easily miss if they weren't looking in the right direction. We used a solitary soldier firing at the player to draw their attention to where the dropship climbs into view. Once the player notices the dropship, there's a good chance they'll watch it until the payoff when it crashes.
Okay, so pay attention to that. There it is! Wow, that guy was right. Brian Jacobson was right. That was cool. Whoa. Okay. Now I'm actually gonna leave this episode here. Now what's great? Hold on. I'm gonna research something. So Portal 2 was released in 2011, right? So we all know that Portal 1. Sorry, not Portal 1. We all know that Portal 2 was made in 2011. And according to here, Half-Life 2 Episode 1 was released on June 1st, 2006. Explain this, Valve. How come in Half-Life 2 Episode 1, we're able to save the game in commentary mode, but yet in Portal 2, we can't? Explain this, Valve. Explain this. Okay. So, I'm gonna leave the episodes here. So that is all for this time. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe, and click that notification bell to be notified every time I upload a new episode. Ultron Brian, out.